the perfect mirror-like surface of a still pond, the unexpected splash of a bamboo water spout. Water isn't just an element in Japanese gardens. It's the lifeblood that transforms stone and plant into a living, breathing meditation on nature itself. Did you know that a garden without water is considered incomplete in Japanese garden design? For over 1,000 years, Japanese garden masters have used water, both real and symbolic, to create landscapes that speak to something deep within us. A properly designed water feature doesn't just please the eye, it calms the mind and rejuvenates the spirit. Whether you're looking to add an authentic Tsukubai water basin to your garden, create a koi pond that seems to have existed for centuries, or even represent water without using a single drop, today's journey will transform how you see and use water in your own garden sanctuary. From the practical to the philosophical, from grand ponds to miniature representations, prepare to discover the fluid poetry that is water in Japanese gardens. Before we begin our exploration, here's what we'll be covering today. 1. The philosophy of water in Japanese gardens. 2. The mirrors of heaven such as ponds and lakes. 3. The movement and sound of streams and waterfalls. 4. The ritual and function of Tsukubai and water basins. 5. Dry representations such as symbolic water. 6. And the modern adaptations and practical tips for your Japanese garden. Now we will start with the philosophy of water in Japanese gardens. In Japanese garden design, water is never just water. It's a profound symbol with layers of meaning shaped by both Shinto and Buddhist traditions. In Shinto, Japan's indigenous religion, water represents purity and life itself. Natural water sources were considered sacred, home to water kami or spirits. This reverence is why purification through water remains central to Shinto practices today. Buddhism, which arrived in Japan in the 6th century, brought additional layers of symbolism. Water came to represent the flowing, ever-changing nature of existence, what the Japanese call mujo, or impermanence. A garden's water features became living metaphors for the Buddhist concept that nothing remains unchanged. The sound of water in Japanese gardens is as important as its visual presence. Garden masters meticulously calibrate the sound of falling water, from the gentle drip-drop of a bamboo spout to the rushing energy of a waterfall, creating what they call suikinkutsu, or waterkoto caves, natural instruments that transform droplets into music. Water's reflective quality also holds special significance. The perfect mirror of a still pond doesn't just double the beauty of surrounding trees and architecture, it represents the Buddhist concept of non-duality, where divisions between self and universe dissolve. Perhaps most profoundly, water in Japanese gardens connects us to what the Japanese call ma, the meaningful space between objects. Water creates breathing room, separation, and transition in the garden, allowing each element to exist in relationship to others while maintaining its own identity. As we explore specific water features, remember that each exists not in isolation, but as part of this rich philosophical tapestry that has evolved over centuries of garden design. Now we will talk about ponds and lakes, also known as the mirrors of heaven. The pond or lake, aik in Japanese, forms the heart of many traditional Japanese gardens. Dating back to the Heian period, 794 to 1185, these water bodies were inspired by the Chinese practice of creating miniature versions of legendary landscapes. The earliest significant Japanese garden pond appeared at Byodo-in Temple near Kyoto, created in 1052. Its iconic Phoenix Hall sits on the edge of a large pond designed to represent the Buddhist Western paradise, creating one of the most perfect examples of architecture and water in harmony. What makes Japanese garden ponds distinctive is their naturalistic design. Unlike Western formal ponds with geometric shapes, Japanese ponds feature irregular shorelines that mimic natural lakes. This approach reflects the Japanese concept of shake, or borrowed scenery, making the garden seem to extend infinitely into the surrounding landscape. Islands play a crucial role in pond design. Called shima, these islands often represent sacred places from Buddhist cosmology or famous sites in China and Japan. The most common formations include 1. Turtle Island and Kamijima, symbolizing longevity. 2. Crane Island, Tsurujima, representing good fortune. And 3. Elysian Island, Horaijima, depicting the home of the immortals. Bridges connecting to islands create both physical and symbolic pathways. Their arched forms are carefully designed to be reflected in the water below, creating a perfect circle when combined with their reflection, symbolizing the completeness of the universe. Here are a few design tips for creating authentic Japanese ponds. 1. Create irregular, naturalistic shorelines rather than geometric shapes. 2. Vary water depths with deeper areas, at least 3 feet, for winter protection of fish. 3. Use different edge treatments, some stone, some planted, to create visual interest. 4. Add subtle movement with small recirculating features to maintain water quality. 5. Position viewing areas where morning and evening light will create magical reflections. And 6. For authentic koi ponds, include areas of shade and proper filtration systems. For smaller gardens, even a container water garden can incorporate these principles. It's not the size that matters, but the thoughtfulness of the design. Let's talk about streams and waterfalls, the movement and sound in Japanese gardens. While ponds represent stillness and reflection, streams and waterfalls, taki in Japanese, introduce dynamic energy into the garden. These flowing water features trace their origins to the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, when Zen Buddhist influences began shaping Japanese garden design. Japanese garden streams aren't just miniature rivers, they're carefully choreographed experiences. Their paths meander and disappear behind plantings or stones, creating mystery and encouraging exploration. This concept, called miegakure, or hide and reveal, turns a simple walk along a stream into a journey of discovery. Waterfalls in Japanese gardens are classified by their form, each with distinct symbolic meanings. 1. Male falls, otaki, dramatic vertical waterfalls representing strength and decisiveness. 2. Female falls, mitaki, gentler, diagonal waterfalls, symbolizing grace and nurturing. 3. Child falls, kotaki, small, playful cascades embodying innocence and potential. The sound of moving water was so important to historic garden masters that they developed techniques to amplify or modify it. Stones placed beneath falling water create different tones, while hollow bamboo water spouts, shishi or doshi, transform functional irrigation into percussive garden music. Perhaps the most famous example is the dry cascade at Ryoanji in Kyoto, a waterfall made entirely of stones with no water at all. This symbolizes the essence of waterfall energy, while embodying the Zen principle of suggestion over literal representation. These are the design tips for authentic streams and waterfalls. 1. Create naturalistic stream courses with both straight runs and gentle curves. 2. Vary the stream width and depth to create visual interest. 3. Position larger stones at bends to suggest natural erosion patterns. 4. Use different sized stones in waterfall construction to break water into multiple streams. 5. Consider the sound design. Test different stone placements to achieve desired effects. 6. For small gardens, even a tiny cascade between 2 levels can create significant impact. And for number 7, ensure proper technical construction with appropriate liners and pumps for longevity. Remember, authenticity comes not from size, but from thoughtful design that captures the essence of natural water movement. Let's take a look at the Tsukubai and water basins, known as ritual and function in the Japanese garden design. Not all water elements in Japanese gardens are large or dramatic. Some of the most meaningful are the smallest, stone water basins that combine ritual significance with everyday function. The Tsukubai, literally place to crouch down, emerged during the Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, as tea ceremony gardens gained popularity. Originally designed for ritual purification before entering a tea house, these elegant stone basins have become iconic elements in both traditional and contemporary Japanese gardens. The most famous Tsukubai is found at Ryoanji Temple in Kyoto. Its stone basin bears the inscription, "I learn only to be contented," a phrase that becomes complete only when the visitor bends down to use the water, adding the character for sufficient. This clever design embodies the Zen teaching that we become complete through humility. Traditional Tsukubai arrangements include 4 key elements. 1. The water basin, Jozubachi, usually a natural or natural-appearing stone with a depression for water. 2. The spout stone, Mizuira, often a bamboo pipe delivering fresh water. 3. The footstone, Fumishi-ishi, where one stands while using the basin. And 4. The lantern stone, Toro, providing light for evening use. Beyond Tsukubai, Japanese gardens feature many other water vessels. Stone water basins called tetsubachi stand upright on pedestals, while suekinkutsu create underground water chime chambers that transform dripping water into ethereal music. What makes these elements special isn't just their form, but their interactive nature. They invite participation, turning garden visitors from passive observers into active participants. These are the 7 design tips for water basins. Position water basins at garden transitions or entrances for both visual and functional impact. 2. Create a sense of discovery. Partially conceal the basin with plantings. 3. Consider the surrounding space. Allow enough room for comfortable use. 4. Use authentic materials, whether natural stone or well-crafted reproductions. 5. Maintain proper water levels and cleanliness. 6. For modern gardens, consider simplified versions that maintain the essence of traditional designs. And 7. Even small gardens can incorporate a simple stone basin as a focal point. These water features prove that significance isn't measured by size. Often the smallest elements carry the deepest meaning. Now, we will discuss symbolic water and their dry representations. Perhaps the most profound expression of water in Japanese gardens is found when no actual water exists at all. Karesansui, dry landscape gardens, represent one of Japan's greatest artistic achievements: the ability to evoke water's essence through suggestion, rather than literal presentation. Developed primarily in Zen Buddhist temples during the Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, these gardens use carefully raked gravel or sand to suggest water surfaces. The patterns, parallel lines for calm water, circular patterns around stones for ripples, engage the mind's ability to see what isn't physically present. The most famous example is Ryoanji Temple's rock garden in Kyoto, created around 1500. 15 stones sit in a sea of meticulously raked white gravel, representing islands in an ocean. What makes this garden revolutionary is that from no vantage point can all 15 stones be seen simultaneously, teaching the Zen lesson that complete understanding remains beyond our grasp. Dry landscapes aren't simplified alternatives to rail water gardens. they're sophisticated expressions of the Japanese aesthetic principle of yohaku no bai, or the beauty of empty space. By removing literal water, these gardens distill its essence to pure form. The patterns created in gravel aren't merely decorative. Different patterns carry specific meanings. Straight parallel lines, samon, represent calm water. Ripple patterns, mizumon, suggest water disturbed by wind or objects. Curving lines, kyokusenmon, evoke flowing streams. And spiral patterns, uzumakimon, represent whirlpools or cosmic energy. Here are the design tips for creating symbolic water features. 1. Use crushed granite, small gravel, or fine sand in light colors for authentic appearance. 2. Create clear boundaries between gravel areas and surrounding garden elements. 3. Invest in proper raking tools to create authentic patterns. 4. Position viewing areas to appreciate the patterns from different angles. 5. Consider scale carefully. Even a small area can create significant impact if proportions are harmonious. 6. For home gardens, create manageable sizes that can be maintained without excessive effort. And 7. Combine with carefully selected stones and minimal plantings for authentic effect. Symbolic water teaches us that suggestion can be more powerful than literal representation, engaging the mind through what is implied rather than stated. Japanese garden traditions have evolved over centuries, and authentic modern interpretations continue this evolution while honoring core principles. Today's Japanese-inspired gardens can incorporate contemporary materials and technologies while maintaining traditional aesthetic values. Modern water features can address practical challenges that traditional designs might not accommodate. 1. Such as limited space solutions, vertical water walls, compact container water gardens, small self-contained water features. 2. Water conservation, recirculating systems, rainwater collection, reduced water surface area to minimize evaporation. 3. Maintenance considerations, modern filtration systems, UV clarifiers for koi ponds, automated water level controllers, and 4. Climate adaptations, freeze-resistant designs for cold climates, shade structures for hot regions, drought-tolerant approaches. When adapting Japanese water elements to contemporary settings, consider these guiding principles. 1. Respect. Natural patterns, even with modern materials, follow nature's example in forms and arrangements. 2. Prioritize experience. Over-display. Focus on how water elements engage the senses, not just how they look. 3. Balance tradition and innovation. Understand traditional principles deeply enough to know when and how to adapt them. 4. Practice restraint. The Japanese concept of hiji, or subdued refinement, remains relevant. Avoid excess. And 5. Consider maintenance reality. Choose designs you can realistically maintain over time. For smaller spaces, remember that Japanese garden tradition includes the concept of tsuboniwa, or courtyard gardens. These tiny spaces demonstrate that profound garden experiences don't require vast areas. A single water basin can transform a small corner into a meditation space. And finally, let's talk about practical implementation tips. Start small and expand gradually as you refine your understanding and skills. Research local regulations regarding water features before beginning construction. Consider seasonal changes in your climate and how they'll affect water elements. Incorporate proper technical elements, liners, filters, pumps, for lasting function. Balance authenticity with practicality for your specific situation. And connect with local Japanese garden societies or specialists for region-specific advice. Remember that authenticity comes not from slavish replication, but from understanding and honoring the spirit of Japanese garden traditions. Water in Japanese gardens, whether flowing in streams, reflecting in ponds, gathering in stone basins, or suggested in raked gravel, connects us to something timeless. These water elements speak a language that transcends cultural boundaries, touching something essential in the human experience. As you consider incorporating these elements into your own garden, remember that the goal isn't to create a perfect reproduction of a historic Japanese garden, but to capture the spirit that makes these gardens endure across centuries and cultures. Listen to water, observe its movement, honor its stillness. In doing so, you'll discover what Japanese garden masters have known for centuries. That water is not just an element in the garden, but a teacher whose lessons flow beyond the garden boundaries into our daily lives. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the water elements of Japanese gardens. I hope you found inspiration for your own garden sanctuary, regardless of its size or setting. If you enjoyed this exploration of water elements, please subscribe to Sakura and Stone for more insights into Japanese gardens and aesthetics. Tap the notification bell to be alerted when our next video drops. Leave a comment sharing which water element you find most compelling, or questions about implementing these features in your own garden. I read every comment and love connecting with fellow Japanese garden enthusiasts. Until next time, may you find moments of peace and reflection in your garden journey.